Hello and welcome. We are Doreen and James Wigderson. We are
We are world travelers. We're WorldWide Wiggy.
WorldWide Wiggy. This is our first official podcast that we have ever done, and we're really excited to share our travels around the world with you and what we've done with our family throughout the years, what's worked for us, what's not worked for us, suggestions just completely based on our own travel experiences. We decided to do this because so many people love the vacations that we go on. We love to share our times with everybody. And so many people are like, you guys should start doing your own travel agency and build your own trips. And so we're here to share with you what works, what doesn't work, and all of the things travel. This is probably a very multi-level podcast. We'll be doing this probably every single week because there's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, learn from us from our tips and tricks, some of which we learned the hard way, some of which we learned from others, and some of which we learned from research online. We're big about researching online before you go.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That's if you learn anything else from our travels is look before you go. Look what you're getting yourself into before you leave home,
just suck up everything that you possibly can on the destination that you're choosing to go on.
It'll make your trip so much
easier and more enjoyable that way too. So let's talk a little bit about our travel things. So I first went to Europe in 1987 on a senior trip with my high school, and I went and visited London, Paris, Lucerne, Switzerland. We landed in Frankfurt, although we didn't get a chance to really go around there, but we were in the Netherlands. And then we were Amsterdam, specifically in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. And then we did Cologne, Germany. So there were a lot of different stops. Paris, we ended up in London and flew out of Heathrow. And it was like a week-long trip in 1987. And I had not been to Europe, back to Europe. So 1987 was my first trip. And then when we went to Rome in 2019, that was the first time that I had been back to Europe. And I'll share that there were a lot of things that I learned now as an adult that I would have gone back to change when I went to Europe in 1987. But that was really my first taste of Europe. I worked 2 jobs to afford that trip. And I had a great time and learned a lot and got married, had my life, got married, had my kids. And then James and I decided to go to Europe in 2019 to Rome. So that was my span of how long. So James has been overseas too.
Yes, I started out when I was in high school. I was a student that traveled to Israel for a month as part of the American-Israel Friendship League program. And we traveled from one end of Israel to another. I climbed up Masada before they had the streetcar or the cable car. We also climbed the hills near Haifa and went to the Lebanon border and went to the Sea of Galilee and explored Jerusalem, sometimes on our own, haggled in the Arab quarter. And it was an amazing trip for a 17-year-old to do with a group of friends. And then when I was in college, I didn't travel overseas, but I traveled extensively in the United States. I rode a Greyhound bus down to New Orleans. We went to Tennessee. We went to Nashville with friends. We went to Kokomo, Indiana, of all places. And then, but we've been elsewhere too. And then when Doreen and I got married, we traveled extensively in the United States with our kids. And that's a big challenge right there, and you learn quite a bit the hard way.
We've been to Disney. We flew with the kids when they were younger. Drove in a car. We've been a lot of places. Our kids were very lucky to be and go on a lot of destinations with us that most kids did not have the opportunity to do.
And truthfully, we went to Hawaii. We've been from Hawaii to Florida to South Dakota to Arizona.
I took my daughter to Alaska. So, we've been all over the country with our kids. Right. And it was really great once the kids were old enough that we could go to Europe. We didn't take the kids on that one. And then we've been traveling Europe, and we've made a pact now that we're empty nesters, that we are going on a new destination every single year for the rest of our lives to see the world. So
yeah, it's an exciting chapter as empty nesters. You know, you're supposed to fake like you're crying when they leave, but we're sitting there looking through travel brochures.
Right. And I didn't shed a tear when I dropped her off. So. Our youngest at college. So that's our experience. We're just here to share with you what we've learned. We're not travel agents. We're not. But there's a lot of people that ask us advice regarding traveling and things that we recommend. And a lot of people are really impressed with the itineraries and the things that we do in the amount of time that we go. So first off, I will tell you that when we travel, we travel. I am not there to sleep. I can sleep when I get home. So we do a lot of stuff when we're traveling. Would you agree?
I would agree. We're not the type to just rest on the beach for more than 20, 30 minutes. I mean, that's...
I don't even think we really make a point to even go to the beach. That's true.
Oh, we did in Santorini.
We did not go to the beach in Santorini. We didn't go to the beach in Santorini.
Yeah.
We saw it like in the bus, but we did not go to the beach.
No. Hawaii, we were there for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, we were on Waikiki for maybe an hour.
Oh, you were with the kids. I was getting dinner. So yeah, we don't rest. Travel with us is an itinerary where you go, because you have to realize when you're going to these places that you may not ever come back again. So you do want to explore, you want to learn the history, the culture, experience the culture, you want to taste the food, you want to meet the people. We meet such interesting people when we travel.
Everywhere.
And it's so much fun that way. And so, you know, when we're on a cruise ship, for example, we're often the last people on board the ship right before that ship takes off.
That's true.
And the first one out in the morning.
You know. And they're laughing at us because we are literally like the last couple. Like, it's not that we're like at risk of like missing the boat, but when, you know, we'll share in this podcast, we'll share one of our favorite cruise lines, because we're not cruisers, that we like to go on, and they do overnights in ports, and you know, we will be out late in the ports just experiencing stuff.
And even when we're on organized tours, we make sure that the gaps in the tour where they say lunch on your own and things like that, we make sure that we have time scheduled filled in with activities. We literally will get off the plane, get to the hotel, they'll say your room isn't ready yet. We're like, fine. That's what the concierge is for. You check in your bags and you go. Right. You explore. This is your chance. Right. Enjoy it when you're traveling. If you wanted to sit at home, there's a recliner in your living room.
Right. You can watch the YouTube videos of everybody else being there. That's the way I look at it.
That's the way I look at it too.
So we people laugh at us, people chuckle, but the truth is that James loves to put together a spreadsheet. So as we are researching, we talked before about researching a destination, every single trip that we go on, we focus on one thing, like one major tour, and we build our tour around that. So for example, when we went to Washington, D.C., when we were married 10 years, 2009, we went to Washington, D.C. for our 10th wedding anniversary. And James has always wanted to take me to the restaurant 1789 in Georgetown. Right?
Right.
So we built our trip. Now, our kids were young, so we could only go away for a few days because mom and dad were watching the kids while we were gone. But so we built our entire long weekend around that dinner at 1789. So we got our reservation, we got our hotel. Like, James had been to Washington D.C. before, but I had not been. So we went during the hottest week of the year. Yeah, because our anniversary is the first week of August, and it was over 100 degrees that week. But we walked the mall. but we couldn't make it to the Vietnam Memorial. So that's where we kind of puttered out. But our whole trip was based around that. And then oops. So our whole trip was based around that. And then we did Mount Vernon, a whole day at Mount Vernon. And that was really fun because we actually did it by like a boat on the Potomac. And it was like a whole day thing. So we met the boat at the Baltimore Marina and took the Potomac boat to Mount Vernon. And it was just a wonderful day. Hey?
That was an amazing day.
It was amazing.
Mount Vernon. If you are going to go visit Mount Vernon, it's fun to do it by sailing down the Potomac River, because just the view, they point out some of the historic sites that you'll pass along the way. We saw a bald eagle over the river. It just was an amazing time. And usually there's, a snack or something on board the boat.
And then the view as you're coming up, you're coming up to Mount Vernon, you can see it on the hill. It's just amazing. And then of course, when you're touring the grounds and you're in the house, I mean, there's the key to the Bastille, like in a box on the staircase. I remember, you think about the people that were at Mount Vernon, Ben Franklin, George Washington, Ben Franklin. I mean, all of these famous people, Marquis de Lafayette, all these people that were at Mount Vernon, the start of our history as Americans. It was just really, and I think that that's really the one thing that we really like when we go to these places, is really thinking, and I don't want to say reflection, but I don't know what else to call it. How old some of these places are that we've seen, and the famous people that have been there that walked this house. I mean, I felt like that when I went into the Lincoln Theater and the house where Abraham Lincoln died. You know what I mean? It's like, they were in these rooms, and you're seeing it. The history unfold. It's just really incredible. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the experience and the absorption of history that we do.
We really truly enjoy that.
It's you're walking these steps, and that's true whether you're traveling in the United States or whether you're traveling in Europe, from whether you're in Scotland or Greece. It doesn't matter. You are experiencing history when you visit these places, sometimes much older than the rest of the United States. It's just absorb what you can and realize what has built our civilization now.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. Okay, so we wanted to talk, so we're sharing a little bit of background with you. These are all things that we'll kind of talk about, I'm sure, in upcoming podcasts, because we're planning on recording and doing a podcast and launching one every week.